So we're going to start off by having a little bit of an introduction into who Onaya are. And then I'm going to hand over to WaiFung after we've spoken about how we came to be. And WaiFung's going to go over what we're going to be covering in the course and what you can expect from the mentorship training. We're then going to go to a few of our experts, experts from around the world, from a diverse variety of backgrounds, from indigenous curanderos to clinical psychologists in Australia and dream interpretation experts. And then we're going to have some time for Q&A. This will be more of a live Q&A. Any questions or comments that we don't get to, we're going to answer and send out via email. So do look out for those. And then we're going to finish off with 20 minutes from the United Freedom Collective. And Robbie from USC is going to be taking us through a breathing with music session. Great. Okay. So who are Onaya and how did we come to be? So Onaya started in its original form in 2015. I've been working as a psychiatrist, that's my background, and I've been working in the NHS. And I was beginning to get quite disillusioned by the way in which we were treating many of our common mental health conditions, and particularly the drug treatments that we were using. And I found that our patients would just come back time and time again. And so much so that we even had a term for that, and we would call it the revolving door syndrome. And so I began looking further afield for other ways of treating mental health conditions. And I ended up in the Amazon rainforest in 2015. And I was there drinking ayahuasca with Don Lopez, who later became my maestro, my teacher, when I started training in Shipibo, curanderismo. Needless to say, I was completely blown away by the effects of ayahuasca, both on myself and on other people that were there on the retreat. And so we started looking into research that had been done into ayahuasca, and amazingly found that in the Amazon rainforest, in naturalistic settings, there actually wasn't very much. So we started looking for people who might fund research that we wanted to do, looking at the effects of ayahuasca on various mental health conditions. And unsurprisingly, then about 10 years ago, nobody wanted to fund this research. So we actually started our first study, just completely self-funded. Following that, fortunately, we did begin to get more funding and more interest. We got funding from the Medical Research Council, which is part of the UK government. And from there, everything just really snowballed up until our most recent studies looking at veterans with PTSD. So the heart of Onaya is to really bridge the gap between spirituality, between traditional medicine and Western science. So we work in partnership with Indigenous healers and Indigenous practitioners. And we're not trying to place one knowledge system as being more important than others. So for example, as science and Western medicine quite often gets labeled as being more important or more valid than Indigenous knowledge. And given the strength given the ability to be able to validate traditional knowledge, we don't want that to be the case. We want to recognize that different ways of understanding the world are equally valid. And we fully believe that we can really progress when we work together in collaboration. And we're not putting one above the other, but we're taking the bits that work best from each, and we're working with respect with people from different areas all around the world. And so for that reason, we designed this psychedelic mentorship course, specifically to help people who want to train to assist others who are walking between the worlds, who are between the different paradigms. For me personally, when I started drinking ayahuasca, I was still based at King's College London, working as a mainstream psychiatrist. And so I went through a period of being in the Amazon rainforest, drinking ayahuasca, and having these incredible experiences that were from a different paradigm, a different way of understanding the world. And when I came back to London to work at King's College London, it was confusing. I had something called ontological shock, which is when you're forced to question your worldview, and it can lead to anxiety and it can lead to confusion. And I really wish that I had have had some kind of support from people that were trained in both sides of understanding the world, in the traditional medicine side and also the Western medicine. So I hope that you enjoy this launch event and you do consider signing up to our psychedelic mentorship course. Please do join our mailing list to find out more information. And I'm going to hand over to WaiFung now to go into a little bit more detail about what you can expect from the course itself.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah. Oh, really nice to see so many faces, so many friends, and kind of new people here as well. Like, yeah, really grateful for you to show up here. My name is WaiFung. I am a clinical psychologist by background and training, and I've been working alongside Simon since around 2017 into this research of ayahuasca. One of the co-founders. And yeah, this has been a really labor of love putting this course together. I think a big part of it is really thinking about like, oh man, this is a course that I really wish that exists, or that a course that I would have loved to have gone to, and really thinking about how do we really bring together the people that we know who are experts in these fields to have this really kind of holistic and multidisciplinary approach to bridge these different worlds that we work with. Um, am I? Yeah, am I spotlighted here? All right, nice. And yeah, so the way the course has been set out is a 6-month course, is a part-time course. So it's designed for busy people, for busy lives. It takes maybe around 3 to 4 hours of your time a week. And what that entails is a lot of there's online materials, but then there's also live sessions, and the live sessions are about 90 minutes long, and they're fortnightly over the 6 months. And there'll be kind of buddying sessions where you'll kind of buddy up with people on the course as well, to have a more embodied and practiced approach to learning, as well as the logical and intellectual. And the way we've designed this course is that it's a little bit like a ceremony, and it's a little bit like a ceremony, and it's broken down into the important kind of aspects of a ceremony, and it's broken down into 5 modules. So firstly, there is a module on foundations and understanding foundations and ethics. So we feel very strongly the importance of understanding, well, both the foundations of psychedelics and ayahuasca from both a scientific and also an indigenous point of view. And through that, we've introduced and brought together people from both worlds, people we've been doing research with in the scientific space, looking at different areas of psychedelics on the body, from neurology to the gut to our DNA to more general knowledge as well. And then bringing in our indigenous friends and curanderos and maestros from through different traditions to come together and tell us about what their perspectives are, and the indigenous perspectives of understanding psychedelics. And then this is also coupled with, really important skills that a mentor or a therapist should have when they're working with people through psychedelic experiences, and really putting an emphasis on the importance of inner work, being from a clinical background myself and having done that kind of Western clinical training, one thing they often omit in clinical training is the importance of self-care, and being able to look after yourself and put yourself in a position of balance and of presence, and being able to guide someone else through that. And then it often results in a lot of burnout for the guide or for the mentor. So this is something we very much uphold within the first module of this course, and then it goes into the second module of preparation. And we look at preparation from the individual perspective, from the collective perspective, and also thinking about important areas such as trauma-informed care, thinking about how preparation is done both in clinical settings, but then also in indigenous settings as well, and how to guide someone through that. And during this part of the course, one thing that I really enjoyed through the beta kind of like phase of running this course is we recommend people to have an embodied experience of that psychedelic journey. So one thing we ask people to do is to engage in a washout period of coming off any sort of oils and salts and sugars and those behavioral and dietary restrictions that retreat centers or indigenous practices ask people to go through like a cleansing period for themselves, and really understanding what that feels like, the challenges that you face, how to guide someone else through that, especially within kind of the buddy system. And also, when we move into the third module of the course, which is looking at ceremonial navigation, we also have an embodied session there looking at how, well, it's like a breathwork session that we guide people through following their washout period. So introducing in a safe fashion an altered states experience for our trainees and guide them through that experience, both within the session and also into the integration module. And then during these buddy up sessions, we are also assessing, like throughout the whole course, there are kind of breakdowns of the course materials, for example, in the kind of some multiple choice questions, but then also we ask our mentors to submit kind of videos. So in this course, because it's fully accredited, we will be asking, there will be kind of assessment process throughout and at the end, and I will talk more about that. And at the next module, which is looking into integration, we will kind of bring in different areas, different expertise of integration into the teaching, looking not just at what we understand from the clinical and indigenous perspective, but also like really bring in abstraction and metaphor and the importance of dream work, and also the importance of nature relatedness as well. Areas that we have found very important and very helpful to the integration of psychedelic experiences before moving into the final module of really interesting intersections between different fields, including things like psychedelic and Buddhism, how it works in kind of internal family systems, IFS, and how that can help. But then also moving into really practical things such as legalities and research, and how what it looks like moving forward. So one thing about this course is because it's fully accredited by an international organization, the AANWP. I'm very pleased to say within our audience today we have Nicole, who is a director of AANWP, and there will be some time during the end, after our experts have spoken, to have some Q&A for people who are interested in the accreditation process, and also that side of the course as well. And yeah, what more to say? Like, I'm just really excited about this starting in September. It's really been a labor of love, and bringing together experts across so many fields, from nature to dream to indigenous to different aspects of psychology. And yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes, and really hope that those who join us will love it as much as we've enjoyed kind of like putting it together, and for those interested to explore, to learn more about it, and hopefully we'll see you on the course. So that's all from me. I will now bring back to Simon to introduce some of our speakers for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, WaiFung. So now we're going to hear from some of our experts on our course, and we have a really great range of people to speak to you. And we're going to start off with Don Miguel Lopez, who is one of our teachers. WaiFung and I are both training in Shipibo curanderismo and Shipibo shamanism. And Miguel Lopez has been a fantastic teacher to us for many years. And so here he is speaking about Shipibo curanderismo.
Bueno, en la verdad, para nosotros los Shipibos, la selva es nuestro hospital. Eso desde muy antes. ¿Ya? Bien, mi nombre es Miguel los dos nombres Miguel Alberto López Guasanando. Estamos dedicando todo lo que es la medicina tradicional, ¿no? Hace muchos años ya que venimos compartiendo nuestra cultura tradicional Shipibo, ¿no? Más o menos empecé desde la edad de 12 años por un conocimiento empírico que tenía mi mamá. Y el conocimiento que yo tengo de las plantas medicinales es una transmisión de madre, padre, los hijos. Esto es, buenos días, estamos cocinando ayahuasca. Sí, ya.
Entonces, ¿qué es el ayahuasca y qué rol tiene la ayahuasca en tu comunidad?
Bueno, nosotros los Shipibos tenemos como una medicina, ¿no? Entonces, y en nuestra cultura desde muchos años atrás venimos practicando y en nuestro medio nos sirve como una medicina de curación, ¿no? Pero a través o bebemos ayahuasca y a través de la variación hacemos un termo para ver si se necesita una curación o su curación es con la planta medicinal, la ayahuasca o de repente otras plantas que hay en nuestro medio, ¿no? Y como les digo, nosotros tenemos como una medicina y en nuestro medio cumple como una función muy primordial en nuestra cultura. Ven aquí, papi, siéntate acá. Espera. Ya, meta. Ya, apúrate. Más falta, ¿no ves?
Sí.
Tú eres un garranazo.
Estoy viendo.
Usted, la ayahuasca, es un ser humano igual que nosotros. Toda planta es un ser humano igual que nosotros, ¿no? Pero la medicina, la ayahuasca, ya al momento que llegas, ya sabes cómo es. Tiene un espíritu. Toda persona o toda planta tiene así, ¿no? Entonces, tiene un espíritu. Al momento que llega, esta persona es traumado. Y sabe.
Fantastic. And a massive thanks to Don Miguel, and so glad that he could join us in this course. So up next, we have Dr. Esme Dark. So Esme is a clinical psychologist based in Australia. She is working on trials at Monash, looking at psilocybin, and is also part of the Clarion Clinic, which is one of the first clinics for legally used psychedelics in Australia. So we're delighted that Esme can join us. Well, it's actually the middle of the night for her. So thank you so much for getting up in the middle of the night, Esme. And please do speak a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be offering in your psychedelics and somatic course.
Hi, everybody. It's really lovely to be here with you all in the middle of the night over here. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's not too bad for me. So it was really lovely to watch that beautiful video. And I'm so excited to be here. My background is clinical psychology. I trained in the UK originally, and then I moved over to Australia about 10 years ago, and I did some more training in a type of psychotherapy called sensory motor psychotherapy. And I realized that my training in clinical psychology was really useful, but was missing the piece about the body. You know, so much of our experiences are stored in our body, both resourcing experiences and then also challenging experiences like traumas and difficult things that we go through. And so I really wanted to do some further training in how I could work with that in my practice. I was seeing a lot of that, the impacts of trauma on the body, but also resources on the body as well. And so it's kind of how I ended up working. It led me, I guess, into the psychedelic field where I've been for the last few years. And so as part of this course, we felt it was really important to draw on some somatic therapy techniques and to bring those in, because as many of you may already know, psychedelics, particularly ayahuasca and sometimes high dose psilocybin sessions, can really take you into the body, that they can really take you into that place of healing through the body. And so somatic psychotherapy starts with the body and goes up as well. We call it a bottom-up approach. So we kind of work the body with the body as the entry point. And it feels like that is also similar to sometimes what happens with psychedelics, particularly ayahuasca as well. And so I'll be meeting with you all for 3 different sessions. One of those sessions will be in the preparation part of the course, where I'll be talking about somatic approaches to supporting people in their preparation for ceremony or other psychedelic work. And I'll be really getting very practical and giving you some tools that you can potentially teach your clients or work with your clients with to help them to go into ceremonial navigation. And then I'll be in the ceremonial navigation part of the course. You'll meet with me again, and I'll be taking you through a section around that and how to kind of teach people how to understand and get to know their body a little bit in the prep phase, so that they can then use that knowledge to help them when they're in ceremony, and to help them also understand a little bit about what their body might do or what happened. And then finally, you'll be meeting with me again in the integration phase, when I'll talk about somatic approaches to integration, because I really do believe that the body keeps the score, but not just of trauma and difficult experiences. It keeps the score of resources too. And so in my psychedelic work that Simon mentioned before, both in trials and in clinic, I really do get people involved, get people into their bodies and use their body as a place to integrate. I'll talk more about that in my session. But yeah, I feel really excited to be joining you as part of this course. And the session will not just be me talking at you like this. It would be remiss of me to teach or work around sensory motor psychotherapy or somatic approaches just with words. So there'll be some invitations into your own body. They'll be quite experiential. There'll be some activities to try. So with an emphasis on really getting you to kind of have a go at some of these things that you may want to then work with your clients around. So I'm really excited to be here with Onaya. It feels like a really good fit, this somatic work alongside the work that they want to do. And I really feel that there's such a good integrity in the team. And I think there's something that's really exciting around bringing the Western and Indigenous principles together in this way, in this course. And so I really hope that we get to see many of you in the mentorship program. So thanks very much, everybody. That's it from me.
Thank you so much, Esme, and so glad that you're going to be joining us for the course. And thanks again for getting up in the middle of the night. Sorry about that. Okay, great. So next up, we're going to have Jem Stone. So Jem is an Indigenous Australian lady who is the co-founder of the Indigenous Psychedelic Assisted Therapies Network, IPAT. And Jem has been really focusing on how to bring culturally safe protocols into the psychedelic space. And Jem's going to be part of our traditional knowledge week, and she's going to be involved in a few sessions there with some other members of the IPAT team. So now we're going to quickly hear from Jem. Once again, a big thanks to Jem for being involved.
Hi everyone, my name is Jem Stone and I am a First Nations woman from Australia, from the Bundjalung Nation, which is Australia's most easterly point. I also have lots of mixed heritage from all over this beautiful planet, and I'm currently living on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people, which you may know as Melbourne, Australia. So I pay my deepest respects to the ancestors of this land for their care and connection to country, to culture and community, and then for passing all that knowledge down through the generations. So acknowledging also the elders past and present as well as all the young ones that are growing up on these lands. May we all find ways to walk gently together and with this beautiful earth so they can inherit a more peaceful place. So the work that I do is primarily I'm a cultural consultant and educator. I'm an Indigenous wellness practitioner and trainer, rebirthing breathwork practitioner, and I co-founded Rebirthing Breathwork Australia. A lot of the work that I share is in earth connection practices and an Indigenous approach to trauma-informed care and practice through a culturally informed trauma integrated approach. I am one of only 2 First Nations people here in Australia that is trained in psychedelic assisted therapies, and I co-founded IPAT, which is Indigenous Psychedelic Assisted Therapies. And that was primarily to advocate for inclusion of First Nations peoples and knowledge systems within the PAT space that has been so recently legislated here in Australia. I share this work in psychedelic assisted therapy spaces, as well as universities, wellness spaces, and within First Nations communities. Because psychedelic assisted therapy within the Western model is so newly emerging on our shores, at IPAT, we tend to be walking in 2 worlds in this space, and we continue to learn, but we also educate, especially on cultural considerations and inclusions of original knowledge systems. I am so excited to be an expert on the Onaya Psychedelic Mentorship Training Program, because it is so important that these things are considered from the very beginning when training in psychedelic assisted therapy. In my session, we'll be looking at the current issues in the Western model of psychedelic assisted therapies, psychedelic medicine and Indigenous wisdom, ceremony, as well as cultural appreciation versus appropriation, and working with Indigenous peoples. And I'll also offer up some ways in which you can stay in right relationship with this work. This course is for absolutely everyone wanting to step into the psychedelic assisted therapy space. And what I will be offering, I hope will bring more confidence for those of you who want to bring more cultural responsiveness to your practice. I am really looking forward to sharing this work with you, and I wish you all well on your journey with this training.
So a massive thanks to Jem for being involved, and the rest of the IPAT team as well. It's really, really great to have them representing Indigenous Australia. And now we're going to hear from Maria Nasdravan. So Maria is a DreamWork facilitator, a writer, and an integrative transpersonal and trauma psychotherapist. I'm particularly excited about the work that Maria does with dreams, as I feel that that is a massively overlooked area. And many people have written about the importance of dreams, as well as it being unanimously accepted that it's extremely important with Indigenous peoples. Everyone from psychoanalysts like Carl Jung and Freud have written about the importance of it. So really, really glad to hear that Maria is going to be involved. And over to you, Maria, to say a little bit about the work you're going to be doing.
Hello, and thank you for having me. Nice to see everyone here. And thanks for that introduction. It's really an honor for me to be on this training as a mentor, and I look forward to you seeing the course in dreams, because I hope that I'll inspire you to love dreams as much as I do. And also for me, it's a really nice way to give back to psychedelics, because I wouldn't have been a DreamWork facilitator, or I wouldn't even paid attention to my dreams if it wasn't for psychedelics. My whole journey began, I used to be an advertising creative, so creativity is still very important for me. But I started working with psychedelics, and they opened my mind to a whole new world that I'm sure you're all familiar with. And part of that world was my dreams. And since then, dreams have become the most reliable space for self-reflection for me, for insight, for mystical and spiritual experiences. So in the course that I created, the part that I created for this program, I really want to bring a psychospiritual approach to dreams that is more focused on the Western side of things, because I am a psychotherapist, I am trained in the Western world, but inspired really by Carl Jung and his teachings, which transcend a lot and are also limited in some ways, but transcend the Western paradigm. my hope generally is really to inspire you to start paying attention to your own dreams before even working with anyone else. Because I mean, what greater source of insight than something that happens 5 to 7 times every night to most of us? We have quite a few dreams every night, and if we start to record them and to simply pay attention to them, life can change really drastically, from insights, personal insights from our day-to-day decisions and how we are, to having really profound spiritual, mystical experiences. And it takes a little bit just to look at some people who have found some of the most creative, innovative ideas that have come through dreams, or a lot of religions that are said to have come through via dreams or visions of the kind. For me, it all began with a very simple dream in a way, but it was so insightful. I still remember, after working with psychedelics, I started seeing a psychedelic integration therapist that I was really keen to integrate my spiritual experiences. And she asked me, "What about dreams, Maria?" And I was like, "Oh, dreams, they make no sense. I don't know. I have them, I remember them occasionally, but I don't care." And I shared a dream very kind of flippantly with her, and it turned out to be a really profound dream that expressed so much of my life at that time, which was a dream where I was in an Airbnb. I was entering an Airbnb and with my parents that I had booked for us for a stay.
I mean, I don't want to use the word random, but it's so, I guess it's a coincidence, because we were just talking about you telling me about.
Okay. I'm not sure what that was, but I'm sure it's synchronicity, something that has some relationship to this. But anyway, in that Airbnb, I found exactly a glitch in the matrix. I found a young girl who was sitting on a sofa and didn't want to leave, even though her time was up, and she was really sad. And me in the dream, I was getting really annoyed and upset with her and trying to push her out. And just, "I've booked this whole place. It needs to be perfect for my parents. What are you doing here?" And this girl was so sad. And that dream really opened my eyes to a reality that had been true for me at that point for a long time. About, you might already kind of understand it, about creating a version for my parents or for others, my conditioning that was really pushing out this sad version of me. And really, there was no curiosity to a different part of me. And that really changed everything. And from then on, I've had obviously many dreams that have been personal and mystical, and really showed me parts of myself that need to come to the surface. So in my part of the course, it's quite dense. There's a lot there because I love dreams, and I want to give you as much as you can possibly take in, so you can start doing this for yourself and for others. But I will be teaching you mostly what it means to live a symbolic life, how to approach not just your dreams, but really everyday life symbolically, in the same way we had that little interruption earlier. How might we reflect on something like that? Because this is about connecting to a deeper transpersonal part of experience that is not just there in dreams and not on psychedelics, but it's really present for us right now. So there's a lot there. You're going to be exploring a Jungian perspective on the psyche, which I think is very helpful. It's also quite intellectual, so some of you might relate to that. Some of you might prefer to approach things more intuitively when it comes to dreams, and everything is welcome when it comes to dreams. And then I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to work with dreams, different types of dreams we might have, from the personal to the subjective, the more objective ones, spiritual dreams, dreams about the future, because this also happens and you might have experience with this. And yeah, how to think about these. And I'm also keen on giving you a bit of information on how to work with your clients, how to take your clients through a process of preparation, and especially focusing on integration when it comes to dreams. Something that I've noticed in my own practice as a therapist is that clients tend to have big dreams before a process starts. So the night before they begin seeing a new therapist or they begin a new course, and I would advise you to pay attention to your dreams even around today, as you're here and you're beginning a new process. So how to pay attention, how to guide someone through these dreams, and how to help them make sense of them. And then quite a big part of my course focuses on tools, practical tools on how to work with dreams with people one-to-one, but also in groups, which can be a really lovely and insightful way of helping people, again, enter a deeper spiritual process. So I think that's about it. There's a lot there, and I would love to, well, I hope you enjoy it, really, and I hope you enjoy this course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria, and so glad that you're joining us for the course. It's such a great session that you're doing. And so now we're going to hear from Don Wilder Mawa, who's a good friend of mine and a really fantastic Shipibo curandero, the direct lineage of the Noyorao Mawa lineage based in Iquitos, Peru. So we're so fortunate to have Wilder teaching us about different perspectives of understanding the world.
Hola amigos, muy buenas tardes. Gusto saludar desde acá. Mi nombre es Wilder Edmar Rojas Mawa. Soy su hijo de la maestra Vilma y su nieto de Benjamín Mawa Chavano. Mi profesión, soy contador y también profesor de educación física, pero dejé un lado esa es mi profesión. Ahora estoy siguiendo todo lo que es plantas medicinales, gracias a mis ancestros, mis familiares que me enseñaron. Para quienes organizamos las ceremonias, ¿ya? Es muy importante esta pregunta para mí. Nosotros organizamos las ceremonias cuando hay algunas personas enfermas, o mejor dicho, sanar a las personas. Y también organizamos ceremonias, también es entregar a las energías positivas, energías buenas, cuando tú ves a tus hijos o a tus nietos, a tus sobrinos, cuando tienen buenos pensamientos. Y por ese motivo es muy importante organizar ceremonia. Por ejemplo, ¿no? Cuando algún familia o familiar se enferma, por ejemplo, puede ser airado, puede ser, como te digo, cruzado de las dietas o chocado de las energías de los muertos. Y es muy importante para cantar, y también es muy importante organizar ceremonia para hacer dietas o para abrir dietas, cerrar dietas, todo lo que es sanar, porque las plantas medicinales te enseñan muchas cosas, muchas sabidurías para tú puedes sanar a una persona. Y por eso es muy importante en mi vida esto, ya, y eso es lo que yo puedo compartir con ustedes.
Great. And a massive thank you to Builder from Iquitos for being so involved. And it wouldn't be an Onaya training course without having a heavy dose of science. And so we're delighted to be joined by Georgia Kaspani, who is actually the lead of our gut microbiome analyses that we're currently doing in the Amazon rainforest, specifically with people with PTSD. And Georgia is going to be telling us a little bit about what she's going to be teaching on her course. So please do take it away, Georgia.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Simon, for the introduction. What a lineup. I'm absolutely excited, and I absolutely loved everybody's introduction so far. It's going to be a very multidisciplinary course, and that's what makes it special, in my opinion. I'm also very happy to see that so many people have decided to join us today to hear more about the Onaya's Psychedelic Mentorship Training course. My name is Georgia Kaspani. I am, as Simon said, a neuroscientist and the gut microbiome expert at Onaya Science. I have a PhD from Imperial College London. Oops, we're going to have a brief pause while these people pass. Sorry. Okay. I wonder what that means, Maria. Another glitch in the matrix. So in my PhD, I was interested in understanding the biological mechanisms underlying major depressive disorder, depression. And as you know, depression is a very common and severe psychiatric disorder. Simon already mentioned some of the challenges in treating this disorder, in the sense that it's a very heterogeneous disease and it presents itself in very different forms in different people. And also because we're lacking clinical biomarkers of depression, that is objective and quantitative ways to measure it. It's very difficult for clinicians to make an assessment and select the correct treatment for the right patient. And so this obviously leads to low rates of response, a high prevalence of treatment resistance, and also, unfortunately, relapse, is revolving door syndrome. And so in my PhD, the goal of my PhD was to identify new quantitative markers, biomarkers that could be used to aid treatment selection in the clinic. And I used a variety of computational and bioinformatic approaches applied to data from different biological systems, from neuroimaging to metabolomics, inflammatory data that were collected as part of a clinical trial of depression. And I was able to identify a unified and multimodal signature of depression that spanned all of these biological components. And most importantly, I was able to discover new sex-specific blood-based biomarkers that could predict response to treatment even before the initiation of pharmacotherapy. So overall, this work really just pushed towards a more personalized treatment approach that is tailored to the biology of the individual patient. And it's through this work in the field of depression that I got introduced and really fascinated by the field of psychedelics and by their potential in treating a lot of mental disorders, including treatment-resistant depression, which is insane. And so at the moment, I am working as a research scientist in the Jeffries Lab in the University of British Columbia, Vancouver. And here I'm working towards developing new psychedelic-based treatments for a range of brain diseases. As I said, I'm also the gut microbiome expert at Onaya. And here, the project that we're working on is aimed at understanding the effects of ayahuasca, not only on psychological symptoms, but also on the composition of the gut microbiome. Now, for people that don't know and are not very familiar with the gut microbiome, it refers to the ensemble of microorganisms that reside in the gut. And the reason why I'm so fascinated by the gut microbiome is that it really plays such an important role in health, in human health in general. Just imagine that humans and microbes have co-evolved pretty much ever since their existence on this planet, so for hundreds of thousands of years. And it's this long period of co-evolution that led to the emergence of a symbiotic relationship where gut microbes really do play an essential role in human physiology. For example, without our gut microbes, we wouldn't be able to digest certain foods. We wouldn't be able to synthesize certain compounds like vitamins, for example. And even our immune system is very much reliant on the existence of a healthy gut microbiome. In addition, our gut microbiome is part of this bidirectional communication between the gut and the brain, which is known as the gut-brain axis. And it's implicated in a lot of mental disorders, including depression. And we'll cover a little bit of this gut microbiome, gut-brain axis topics in my session of the course. Another very interesting thing about the gut microbiome is that because it's so heterogeneous and it varies so much from one person to the other, it really lends itself to be used for personalized medicine. So we can identify specific microbial signatures that could help us stratify the patient population, or that could help us predict response to treatment or the emergence of side effects, overall aiding the selection of the correct treatment that is tailored to the biology of the individual patient. So in this course, in my session, we'll be focusing on how to foster the gut microbiome for for optimal psychedelic integration. I'll cover topics like the gut microbiome and the gut-brain axis, the interaction between gut microbes and psychedelic drugs, what we know so far about the topic. And I'll end with more practical considerations on how to take the gut microbiome into account when working with patients or clients, especially in the integration phases. I am absolutely extremely excited to be part of this course. I really do believe that psychedelics are such powerful and fascinating compounds that can benefit a lot of people. And I think if more people were literate about the role of psychedelics in mental health, there would be a lot more respect for these drugs and a lot more respect for the immense knowledge that is held by indigenous people that have used these drugs for millennia, literally. So this course is for you if you also believe in the beneficial effects of psychedelics on overall health. And if you want to learn a bit more about the gut-brain axis, the gut microbiome, and in general, how to make sure your clients or your patients have the best psychedelic experience. So I'm very excited to be on board. I hope to see you soon. And thank you again for the invitation today.
Thanks so much, Georgia. So glad you could be a part of this, and such fascinating work. I think that really is the future, being able to identify how people might respond to certain treatments, especially people who might have adverse reactions. So yeah, really bridging the gap between the two worlds to maximize safety and efficacy is, yeah, absolutely fantastic. So what we're going to do now is move over to a bit of a Q&A session. We have about 10 minutes for this. So do just unmute yourself and just ask any questions that you have. That's totally fine. If you'd rather not do that, you can post in the chat and we can answer, and we'll email any answers that we don't get to out afterwards. And then at about 5-ish, we're going to finish off with some breath work and music from Robbie from the UFC, the United Freedom Collective. And so firstly, over to you guys to hear any questions that you have.
And also, if there's any questions for our experts who have spoken today, feel free to bring it in since we've got their presence here.
Suppose I'm quite interested, actually. I'm a registered mental health nurse. I've just left the NHS and I've moved to breathwork as a sort of form of supporting people through a process, whatever that may be. And I suppose I'm kind of interested how breathwork is used at the beginning. I totally understand why you're using that, because it's a really good sort of titration, isn't it, into higher, different states of altered consciousness. And I suppose I'm just wondering how that is used. Is that used throughout the whole program for people that are participating, or is this just at the beginning as a sort of tool for people to understand the process?
WaiFung, can I answer that?
Yeah, I can take that. So it's mainly a tool to help people understand the process as it stands, because we are it's a safe way to introduce kind of an altered state of consciousness during the third module of ceremonial navigation, just to help people have a bit more of an embodied experience when they are doing their mentoring practices, when they are doing their own self practices, and then also the integration work that comes following the breath work. And it is something that we shine a light upon during kind of preparation and integration as well, and the importance of which, but it's not something that takes a front and center throughout the course per se, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. There are some messages in the chat. Oh, cool.
What other questions do people have?
Can I ask a question, if I may?
Please.
Thank you. I'm interested in kind of for what the focus of the course is intended, as in like as a practitioner, is it for the facilitation of ceremony? Is it for preparation? I love the arc. I think as someone, for someone new going into this kind of other world, in many ways it is, to have that preparation and then know an idea of what's going on in ceremony, and then integration, as we know, is so huge. But just from your perspective, what the course is set up for in that regard.
Yeah, thanks, Flora. That's a super important question. So for this course, this is to help you, it's to train you so that you can help people with their preparation and their integration, and also to support them when they're choosing a spiritual experience that they're going to undertake. We're definitely not training people to be facilitators or psychedelic facilitators. You know, that in itself takes years and years and years and years. And it would be specific to the spiritual experience that you were training in. So this is to support clients at every single stage of their psychedelic journey, but we're not the facilitators ourselves, or we're not training to be facilitators.
Yeah. And something we really highlight in the course is that need for kind of supervision and onward referral if people do get into a place of managing a higher risk and moving into more clinical presentations during those kind of bookending experiences as well, and really recognizing the limitations of having only kind of part-time training of 6 months, but this is like the minimum we could do to make something accessible to people. So yeah, really highlighting the fact that this is not a clinical training, this is a foundational kind of course. And then also from, you know, from completion of the course, even though you will be kind of certified by the course, which is which also kind of leads you to being pre-qualified for a board certification with AA and WP, that following which, when you do start kind of doing the mentoring work, that it is important to continue to have supervision as well. We have some questions in the chat, I think. A course outline with the schedule of live calls. So one thing we are in the prep and the making of ahead of the next within the next 2 weeks or so, we are making a brochure with all of the information on, and we will be happy to kind of share it with everyone when that is ready.
Please do make sure you're on our mailing list, and we're going to send it out through the mailing list. Also on our website, there's some more information as well, but the brochure will be where the vast majority of the information is.
And then for the format, so briefly, for the format of the course, it basically looks like it's the whole thing is online. And there are 5 modules. The 5 modules are foundations and ethics, preparation, in ceremonial navigation, integration, and then at the end there is kind of important considerations, which looks more at the intersections between different fields. And yeah, within each basically there are about kind of like 3 hours of online kind of materials to look at. There is mainly like core materials that we want everyone to study, and that the exams and the panels will be on. But then there will be supplementary materials as well for people who are just interested in diving and looking down a rabbit hole a little bit more. Alongside the live sessions, which will be a lot of kind of reflection on what people found within the course itself, and then also meeting up with the buddies. And there is like a community aspect that we're really trying to uphold within this as well, and the connection between the people within the cohort. And then yeah, as for the requirements of the certification, we'll be requiring people to submit 2 videos of their sessions, of their practice sessions for review, and then there will be a multiple choice kind of exam alongside a panel at the end.
Thanks, WaiFung. So just enough time for one more question, and then we'll move on to the breathing and music. And any other questions we will answer via email. So make sure you're on our email list, and we'll send them out via there. So Miranda says, is step and setting a topic throughout the course, or is it focused in one particular module? Is exploring or mitigating expectations part of that? Yep, that's really a really good question, Miranda. So step and setting is focused in one of the modules, but is a recurring theme throughout the whole course. So when I was based at King's College London doing the psilocybin trials, and also in Australia as well, we found that the biggest issue that we had when clients were engaging with psychedelics wasn't adverse experiences. It was disappointment due to expectations. So it was getting into the room, or it was experiencing the psychedelic after having seen about it on the news, having watched it on Netflix, having read books about it and articles saying that it will completely change your life. And then it was that crushing disappointment that people had when it didn't do that that was actually the main issue that we faced. And so we've addressed that throughout the course. So yeah, really great question. And I'm afraid we are out of time for questions now, but we will answer the rest of the questions via email. So do keep posting them in the chat and watch out for that email. So for the remainder of our session today, I'm going to pass over to Robbie from the United Freedom Collective. And Robbie's going to give us some music that he's put together for breathing and really just to get into a meditative state. And this really highlights something that's really important to Onaya, which is the community aspect of the work that we do. You can have these amazing transformative experiences with psychedelics or other spiritual modalities. But if you don't have a supportive community, it makes it really hard to integrate those experiences and then transform them into change in the rest of your life. And so please do join up to our community. You can do that via email by joining our email list. And we'll keep you posted with a wide variety of events from our friends of Onaya. So people that we resonate with, that we're working with. And these will be online and in person in the United States and the UK. So make sure you don't miss that. So really pleased to hand over to Robbie. Thank you so much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you to our experts for joining as well. And look forward to seeing you on the Psychedelic Mentorship Training.
Thanks, Simon. And yeah, hi everyone. As Simon just said, I'm part of United Freedom Collective, which is well, we're essentially a band, a music project. I started it with WaiFung a few years ago. I'm sure some of you know about us. And apart from releasing music kind of, I guess, commercially, we also have been involved in creating soundtracks for some psychedelic therapy trials. And also I've been making some music for breathwork channels, yoga channels, a bit like such as Peloton, but also more kind of bespoke things. And this particular piece I'm going to share with you guys, I created for a breathwork coach called James Dowler, who is a really fantastic kind of scholar into it, most in particularly polyvagal theory, so using breath to regulate our nervous system. And that's what I'm going to be kind of guiding now. And I know that I'm probably guiding an audience consisting of a lot of people who know a lot more about breathwork than I do. But it's a very simple, very, very simple breathing exercise I'm going to guide. It's called box breathing. Box breathing is equal parts inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And the pace of the music that I'm going to be kind of using as the kind of, I guess, anchor to this breath work, it's going to be a count of 8, which will equate to about 5.5 seconds, which a lot of people have purported, especially James Nestor, who wrote the book Breath, as the kind of optimum length of your inhale and exhale. The piece is just over 15 minutes, and you're more than welcome to turn off your camera if you don't want people to see you sort of doing it. Also, you know, if you need to leave, don't worry, just slink off. I won't be offended. But hopefully we can all kind of get into this, and if you do have headphones, that will maybe make it a bit more immersive for you. But if you don't, no worries. And I also know that the quality when I share sound over Zoom isn't spectacular. But hopefully it's enough to kind of ground us all and bring us all into this state. And yeah, as I say, it's quite a calming breath work. It's designed to kind of basically activate your ventral vagal state, which is associated with social engagement and safety. A lot of people kind of call it your parasympathetic nervous system. It's part of that. So it's very useful if you're about to participate in something that's maybe quite challenging. I often do this kind of breath work maybe before I perform or teaching yoga, which I do part-time. So yeah, I think that's probably enough chat. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my sound. Do comment if there's any issues with volume, but you can obviously control your own volume. We did a little test earlier with the guys. So yeah, I invite you all to put your headphones on if you've got some. Find a comfortable seated position, or if you'd rather lie down, that's absolutely fine as well. If you're sitting, maybe just straighten your spine, relax your shoulders, and gently close your eyes. I'm going to start this piece of music. So yeah, just close your eyes gently. I invite you to take a big breath in. Hold it briefly at the top. And you can sigh that breath out. And see if when we take our next breath, we can activate our diaphragm. So breathing openly into the part of the body just below the lungs. Into the belly, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay. Let's take another deep breath all together, inhaling to the top, holding it for a moment, and exhaling, sighing it out the mouth, and then coming back to nasal breathing. Just natural breath, not forcing the breath in any way yet. We're going to get into the box breathing in just a moment. So take a deep breath in, exhale, and then we're going to start in a moment. Okay, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the breath out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the breath out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. 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 Breath out. Inhale. Hold. Okay, and exhale fully. Just realign your spine if you're sitting, and just come back to a natural breath. So not forcing anything, not counting anything, just inhaling and exhaling through the nose in a regular way, and just taking this opportunity, checking with how the body's feeling, checking with any sensations in the body, using the breath just as an anchor into the present moment, nothing more. We'll just continue this natural breath for a short while longer, another minute or so. Just noticing the inhale, noticing the exhale. Wherever you are, just take a deep breath in now. Fill the lungs, fill the belly, hold it at the top briefly, and sigh the breath out. We're going to start again with the box breath. So, inhaling, inhale from now, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold it out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the breath out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. 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 Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And relax now into natural breath. So no counting, no holding, just breathing naturally in through the nose and out through the nose. Again, I invite you to realign your spine, sit up straight, relax your shoulders. Passively observe any sensations, emotions, thoughts you might have. And we're going to rest here. Another few seconds before we do one more round of box breathing. Deep inhale, exhale to begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold it out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. 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 Inhale. Hold it at the top. And then sigh it out. Just relax the diaphragm. Keep the eyes closed. Come back to your natural breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Don't worry about meter, don't worry about counting. Breathing, how your body telling you to breathe. And just noticing how the body feels, how the mind feels. And then I just invite you to place your palms together in front of your heart, connecting the palms together, connecting these two polar forces of energy together. And then just start gently rubbing the palms together. And you can speed it up if you like. Starting to create a bit of friction, a bit of heat between the palms. And when you're ready, just hold the palms in front of the face. Feel that heat radiating from your hands onto your face. And using the slightly blocked out light now from your hands, just to blink the eyes open, come back into your space. And we're going to stop there. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I think the guys wanted me just to sign off and just say thanks to everyone for joining the session today, and hopefully see you all again in the future. Bye guys.